chosen, I'm chosen. Other spirits fall, but mine has ceased to be broken. You stripping down my pride, but I'm my only opponent. And lately I abide, but limitless I've awoken. So let me show you that everything I sacrifice mattered. All that blood, sweat, tears that I scattered. All that fake talk, fear that you splattered. Push me too right here, a new chapter.
This video has been overdue for a while now, because I really wanted to nail it when it came to utilizing Kovaaks to improve in Apex Legends. And while there are plenty of playlists that will most definitely improve aim fundamentals and should transfer well to games, the sad reality is, not all guns shoot alike, or even have the same recoil. This became blatantly clear to me when I started to excel with the charge rifle of all things, being that it's hit scan, rather than becoming a beam god with the R99 or CAR. Instead, my shots were trailing the enemy, and by the time my reticle actually caught up with them, I was already halfway through the mag. The reason for this is because of bullet velocity and drop-off, which means as an MNK player, you'll most likely have to always lead your shots from far to mid and sometimes even at close ranges depending if they're moving fast enough with a pistol, shotgun, or SMG. And that's exactly why I decided to rewrite the script of my video, and not base it on Kovaaks itself, but rather bring those concepts and scenarios and utilize them in the new firing range with all the variety it has to offer. Now, this will not only account for variables such as bullet drop-off or velocity, it will also help your eyes focus and quickly distinguish a target from the surrounding environment, as opposed to looking at a red dot on a screen or a cylindrical object in a background that is not filled with as much color or variety as Apex. So before we get started, if this video helps you out in some way, shape, or form, please drop a like, it would be greatly appreciated. It's a small button for you, but means the world to me. Thank you, and let's get started. The weapons utilized in these training routines should have as few attachments as possible. So for instance, if I'm using an SMG, I will only be equipping a gold mag, and the only other time I'll be equipping a sight would be for mid-range exercises and weapons, such as a 2x on a flatline or a 3x on a nemesis. Now while performing these exercises, I want you to focus on 4 things. The first is mouse grip. Make sure to maintain a soft and snug grip for the entirety of this routine. This will aid in smoother tracking and allow you to quickly make micro adjustments when the reticle is slightly off the target. You see, when using a very tight grip, your aim will be shaky and rigid, while also increasing reaction time when the target switches directions because the fingers as well as the wrist are very tense. Utilizing a softer grip will help prolong gaming sessions by increasing your time of efficiency before fatigue sets in, as well as help prevent carpal tunnel in the future. Now on to the second, which is to always tug down at the beginning of every burst. What this does is negate the initial upward pull of an automatic gun and help you control the first bullet before aim smoothing manages the recoil. As for the third, do not predict the direction of the moving target, but rather try your best to react to it. This will help improve your ability to read and thus eliminate the target, rather than investing half the mag into a direction that the target may or may not go to. And lastly, make sure to always incorporate counter-strafing where it is applicable. On a side note, I'll have the amount of time needed for each exercise on the top right hand corner of the screen. Now jumping into it, we have a warm-up inspired by the pole long dodge scenario in Kovaaks. Pole long dodge is a scenario that trains you to maintain a target while strafing in all directions. Grab an SMG or any weapon that has a fast ADS movement speed. Do not fire your weapon in this warm-up. All I want you to do is ADS and maintain the reticle while strafing around the target. Try your best to move closer and farther away while doing this, and ensure that each strafe is around a second long rather than a quick jitter from right to left. What this will do is help loosen up the wrist and forearm, allowing them to synchronize and move fluently as one. It will also add movement aiming as another layer on top of isolated mouse control. Do this for 5 minutes. strictly focusing on the dummy in front of you to accustom your eyes on the shape and character model. This will translate in-game by allowing you to eliminate the distractions such as muzzle flare while beaming a target at close ranges, or to pick a target out of the environment from far distances. Now that we're done with our warm-up, let's get into the first part of this routine. This exercise will be applying concepts from pole long dodge as well. I want you to focus on a target just like this at a relatively close distance. Aim for the center, but strictly the white dot, to really work on precision. Utilize the same strafe pattern as before, 1 second strides from side to side while trying to maintain the target as much as possible, and allowing your wrists and fingers to get used to the micro adjustments needed when switching directions. With each and every burst, try to pull down a little on the initial bullet in order to control the recoil. Please be constantly consciously aware on how tight you are holding the mouse and loosen up when need be. You'll come to find that a softer, more snug grip will allow you to react quicker when making those micro adjustments. Being stiff and tense will always be the enemy of smoothness and accuracy, especially when it comes to this game. Do this for 5 minutes before moving on to our next exercise, which is target switching. This is a concept utilized in Air Dodge TS. The scenario in Kovaaks is meant to train hand independence and target acquisition while counter-strafing. Counter-strafing is done by moving to the right if the target's to the left, and strafing to the left if the target's to the right. Now, what I want you to do is back up to where the 2 center boxes are. The goal for this is to go from target to target. We're going to start with the 2 farthest right and left targets. Aim for the white dot in the center again, zooming in and out every time we target switch. Do this for 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And for the second part of this exercise, we're going to take aim at the 2 center targets, but this time we're going to remain aiming down sights, going from dot to dot, counter-strafing on each switch. Do this for 2 minutes and 30 seconds as well. Again, I want to stress, accuracy is of the utmost importance in all these exercises, so take your time between switching targets to ensure it. You don't have to worry about the speed, that will come naturally with time and consistency. Do this for 2 minutes and 30 seconds as well, and let's move on to the next, which is close range dynamic tracking. This is inspired by close LS dodge, which will aid in helping the player anti-mirror a close range target by counter-strafing while also promoting recoil smoothing. Before doing this though, I recommend hopping on ballistic and using his ult for a fast reload in order to maintain a constant stream of bullets rather than having to take a second to reload normally. So do yourself a favor, grab a gold bag and stuff it full of ult XLs. You're gonna need it. I want you to really focus on tracking the white dots in the center instead of just generalizing the middle, as well as prioritizing smooth tracking from side to side rather than stiff, shaky directional changes caused by a tense grip. Utilize his ult 5 times before moving on to the next exercise. Now we are going to transition to mid-range dynamic tracking. We will still be using ballistic's ult as well as applying some concepts from the previous exercise. Before starting, pick yourself up a 301, Flatline, or Nemesis, and slap on a 2x or a 3x sight on it with gold mags of course. Counter-strafe and smoothly glide from side to side while aiming at the center dot. Utilize ballistic's ult 5 times again before progressing. Alright, on to the good stuff. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the most important exercises, especially for mouse and keyboard players. Inspired by 1 wall 6 targets, this Kovaak scenario helps practice target acquisition, micro correction, and micro flicking. In Apex Legends, the ability to micro correct plays a major role, no matter if the engagement is close or at extremely far ranges, because if the reticle is even slightly off the hitbox, the player will miss vital shots and could cause them to lose the engagement. In other words, being able to adjust the reticle to maintain the target at an almost microscopic level is a skill that is invaluable. I will be utilizing SMGs for this exercise. We will be strafing while burst firing each target in the background. After landing a hit on your target, move to the next in a straight line as smooth as possible. I know it will be hard, but try your best to not have a tight grip in the hopes that it will provide stability and accuracy. In reality, it will fatigue you faster and will inhibit your ability to make micro adjustments. Try to be consciously aware of this and loosen it up when your grip gets too tense. Again, slightly pull down on each burst. This will help maintain the bullet's desired trajectory. Now, while all exercises in this training routine are 5 minutes long, I strongly recommend doing this for 10 minutes due to how beneficial this exercise is. However, 5 minutes is just as good. Finally, we're going to move on to the dummies, and you can either do this close range or mid range depending on which area you feel needs the most improvement. Now, let's go to customize range, Make the shields of the dummies mythic, the stance to stand, the strafe to random, the moving speed to run, and shooting to hard. The reason I don't set it to full combat is because the dummies will run at you in a straight line, which in higher level lobbies rarely happens. When the opponent acknowledges you, they will engage and start strafing in order to avoid getting shot. Being able to counter strafe against the opponent's strafe pattern is a dance worth learning. This will result in smoother beams as well as winning more engagements. Focus on strictly maintaining one target at a time and counter strafe in response to their movement, never predicting, but reacting. Do this for 5 minutes or until you're warmed up. And yeah, that's about it for our training session. Now, I don't recommend going past an hour in the firing range if you intend to jump in ranked or pubs right after. You might not realize it, but your hands, eyes, and focus will be somewhat impaired or fatigued, which is a consequence of overtraining. The key is to do a little bit each day and over time consistently improve aim. Remember, Rome was not built in a day, and doing all these exercises for hours on end will only cause fatigue and burnout, so take your time, enjoy the process, have a little fun, and treat this for what it is, a game. Thanks guys for taking the time out to watch this video, and I truly hope it helps in some way, shape, or form. If it did, please drop a like or even a sub if it helped you beam down a roller player or two. Also, let me know in the comments what other training routines you guys do before jumping in game. I'm always learning and would love to hear your input. As always, please keep it civil, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.